Welcome to Jimmy's Economics. Here's everything you need to know about 1.2.9 Indirect Taxes and Subsidies. An indirect tax is a tax placed on producers who pass on the extra cost to consumers. There are two types of indirect tax, specific and ad valorem. A specific tax is a tax charged per unit. For example, fuel duty in the UK, which is charged at 53 pence per litre. An ad valorem tax is a tax payable in proportion to value. For example, UK VAT tax is 20%. On a diagram, an indirect tax looks like this. The tax causes supply to shift to S2 because it is now more expensive for a producer to supply. The producer also increases the price to P2, passing on the extra cost to consumers. Because price has risen, output falls to Q2. The incidence of a tax is the tax burden on the taxpayer. The consumer burden is the yellow area. Consumers burden the rise in price. The producer burden is the gray area. Producers burden the total shaded area, which represents the whole tax, but not entirely, as they raise the price for consumers, so they only burden the gray area. The total shaded area of yellow and gray represents the amount of government revenue raised from the tax. The vertical distance between S1 and S2, the line AB, shows the size of the tax. To remember where the consumer and producer burden of indirect taxes are on a graph, follow these three steps. 1. Shift supply left, and as a result, price and quantity will rise and fall respectively, so a new equilibrium is found. 2. Highlight the vertical difference from the new equilibrium and the old supply line. 3. Draw a line to the price axis from the bottom of this vertical line. You should be left with a rectangle with two halves. Consumer burden is always the top half of the rectangle. For consumers, indirect taxes cause higher prices and reduce demand, depending on the elasticity of a good or service. For producers, indirect taxes cause higher costs and potential lost profits. For governments, indirect taxes generate tax revenue and can reduce demand for goods and services, depending on their elasticity. To learn more about how indirect taxes are affected by elasticity, check out my video on 1.2.3, Price, Income and Cross-Elasticities of Demand. Check out part 2 for the rest of 1.2.9, Indirect Taxes and Subsidies. Hope that helps. Follow for more.